Hello, my name is Paul Mukoma, and this is Champion Mindset. This weekend, in a few days, Eliud Kipchoge will be attempting to run marathon in under 2 hours. This has never been done before. He's trying to break his own record. And I looked at their slogan, the slogan they're using for this race. And the slogan is, "No human is limited." And I really thought about that. And I thought about how marathon started. I didn't even, as I was researching, I didn't even know where the name marathon came from. And I learned that was actually a town in Greece. And there was one messenger who ran from that place called Marathon to go and give the good news that they had won the battle. And immediately he got to the place, he announced, "We have won," and collapsed. And that's how marathon started. And you know, when you look at the first people to run marathon, as you've seen, the first person actually died after running. And that was the beginning. And so many other people came up, and records have been broken over and over. Just to know that no human is limited. It's only our minds that at times are limited. It's only what we believe in that can be limited. But once we believe, it can be done. Let's say, for example, Eliud Kipchoge manages to break this record. You will see how many more people are going to do the same. How many many people are going to run marathon under 2 hours, because the limitation has been lifted from the mind. So when I thought about this, and again I was looking at the launch of the grand opening of Tyler Perry Studios the other weekend, and it was so amazing. And you know, every article, every blog I was reading it was saying history has been made. He's made history. First black studio to be owned by a black man, to even be owned by an individual, and this has never been done. People wouldn't have believed people can do that. And just imagine how big this studio is. It's so big that it's bigger than Warner Bros. Studios, is bigger than Paramount Pictures, and is bigger than Disney Studios, all put together. Way bigger than that. Owned not only by one man, but a black man. Nobody would have thought that people can go against the Hollywood culture and do something bigger, something out of Hollywood, you know, that is that big. So records can be broken. No human is limited. We are only limited by our beliefs and what we perceive. And once we change our perception, once we change what we perceive, and I know this is in line with what the video I did about our amazing mind, that once we change what we believe, we can do things that are unimaginable. We can break records. We can go against the norm. And so it's challenging us and challenging all of us to really go against the norms and know that we are not limited. We can only be limited by what we believe in. And like the quote goes, the man who believes they can, they are right. And the one who believes they can't, they are also right. Because it's in our mind, and it's in what we believe in. And if we believe we can break records and make history like Eliud Kipchoge is attempting to do in a few days, it can be done. So what do you believe in? What is your perception? How do you perceive things that are termed as impossible? If we perceive that these things can be done, they can be done. So it's just to go against, and I like what my mentor says, Dr. Wale, that we should never benchmark with mediocrity. Because if you want to break a record, who are you going to benchmark with? Eliud Kipchoge is attempting to break his own record, and not just break his own record, but keep a record that can be there for a long time. Run an entire marathon under 2 hours. He's already broken other records, but now he's trying to break his own record and run marathon under 2 hours. That's why they're calling it the Ineos 1:59, 1 hour and 59 seconds. It's tough. He's been preparing for it. And the other days I looked at how he's been preparing, and I thought, the article I read, I thought he will talk about how much he's practicing and how much he's running, but it was saying how much he's training his mind, how much he's training his mind to believe it can be done, because it's fast in the mind. Our mind goes fast, and that's why even as you think about the champion mindset, it's about the mind. It's about us having a mindset of a champion, because once you believe it, you're almost there. I know the quote goes like, once you believe it, you're halfway there. But I believe once you believe it, you're already there. Because like we said during the video I did about the power of our amazing mind is, once we believe, once your mind leaves a place and goes to another place, your body has got no choice but to follow. So even for Eliud Kipchoge, he's been training his mind, training fast his mind to run marathon under 2 hours. Because he knows once his mind accepts, his body has to cooperate. And that is why so many of the disasters we see today, it was first conceived in the mind. So if we conceive powerful things, we are going to achieve. If we conceive we are champions. That is why we call this a champion mindset. And I really loved what the hashtag and the slogan they have for this run, that no human is limited. No human is limited. Think about that. We are not limited. You know, even as people started running 100 meters, it was believed it can't be done under these minutes, under these seconds, and people have kept breaking records. And the first record took so long to break because even researchers had said if a man runs under these, their heart can burst. Can you imagine that kind of a belief? But that record was broken. And once the record was broken, because it broke the limits of what even research had said. So I think we are living in captivity of some research that has been done, saying this can never be done. It had been said that you cannot do films out of Hollywood. And now in Atlanta, Tyler Perry has built studios, and that people believe they cannot be done. He acquired a whole military facility. But now, even to make it even more interesting, is a black man, the man who slept in the car in the same city. He was homeless in the same city for a long time. Nobody would have thought this can be done. How has it been done? By believing it can be done, by having the right mindset. So I believe when we change our mindset, when we alter our mindset and have the mindset of a champion, nothing can stop us. Nothing can stop us. And even here at Talanta, and what a coincidence, Talanta, we are looking at building studios that no school has built before. We believe it can be done. We are doing studios. This is our first studio we've done here, small studio in our building here at Ambank House, and we believe we'll keep on building. In a way, we'll build such big studios that big films can be done. We believe it can be done. We believe we can train the best filmmakers here. That's our belief. And you know, once we conceive it and perceive it correctly in our mind, it will be done. It will be done. So as we benchmark and as we look at what has been done, is to think, how can we break records? How can we be record breakers? How can we have that kind of mindset that we can do what has not been done before? We can break out of cocoon and do things that have not been done. So what do we benchmark with? We are born to stand out, not just to fit in. Because many a times as human beings, we fit in and conform to things that have already been done. But if you're going to be record breakers, we have to move out of that thinking and know that we can do amazing things. And we really have to move out of what we have believed in. In the morning, we had a discussion with Edwin, our principal, and he was telling me there is this artist who did a whole exhibition of art, what he was calling it, an unseen art. So he had just blank canvas, and people were just looking and staring at blank, and people paid actually to go to the gallery and watch this. And, just invisible art. Can you imagine that? And people paid to just go and see invisible. And I thought about it, I was like, this sounds crazy. If you do that in Africa, people are going to stone you. People are going to rough you up and ask you to return their money. But people went to the gallery just to see invisible art. And this really made me think. These people didn't even complain. They won, and they just stared at invisible art, canvases that are blank. And I like what someone said, that if you can see the invisible, you can achieve the impossible. So the people went and all that, and they talked about it, because much of what we are supposed to see, actually the invisible is more permanent. The invisible is bigger. What we don't see is actually a permanent thing. It's actually the bigger thing. So if we can have that ability to see the invisible and to create new pictures of what has been done, we can actually invent new things, make new inventions. Because if you only stare at what has been done, and they say you cannot reinvent the wheel, but I believe even the wheel now is going to be reinvented. I mean, people never thought, man can go to the moon. It looked impossible. Planes, planes can fly, and big tons of things can float on water. So the invisible and that perceiving the impossible is actually possible to be done. So when we benchmark, let's know that we have to also now think about things cannot be even be benchmarked. There are things we need to conceive that it's not about benchmarking. My mentor one time told me about the first university. Think about the first university. Who are the lecturers in the first university? Where did they get the doctorates from? And that is why, for me, I think we need to really believe in doing crazy stuff. Where did the lecturers come from that built the first university? Where did they attain their first degrees? And that is why I believe even here at Talanta Institute, we're about to do new things that have never been done. I believe we should invent new way of doing film, new way of doing things, new way of training. Because when I started producing, and I looked at people who had come from colleges and universities, because I learned filming the street way. I didn't even know the rules. I broke so many rules and did, new shots and all that. So I wondered, how did they learn? And that's how we invented a new way of training, practical hands-on. We'd not just train you how to follow the rules. We train you how you can break the rules and come up with something new. We are firm believers in that people should be given room to create new things, new way of doing things. And that's what Tyler Perry has done. He's gone against all the rules. He's broken all the rules. But he's invented something that has not been done before. If we looked at conforming to the Hollywood style, because Hollywood had become a culture, and everybody had conformed. Everybody who needed to do film to become an actor had to move to LA and be there and be in Hollywood and do what is being done there. I instead, no, it's not just, it can be done elsewhere. It can be done in Atlanta. And if it can be done in Atlanta, such big studios, I believe it can be done in Africa. I believe we can do studios here that have never been done before. And we can have people flying from all over the world to come and use our studios. I believe we're going to do that. So what do you believe? What you believe and what you perceive and what you have conceived in your mind is very important. And that's why I love this quote that no human is limited. We can only limit ourselves by what we believe in. We can only limit ourselves by what we think is possible. But if we can see the invisible, and that's why I like the discussion I had with Edwin this morning of this invisible art. It really made me think, and I think I would attend such an exhibition, because that's really a mind-provoking exhibition. Many a times we go and analyze art, see, look at the art and ask the artists what they were thinking as they were doing it. But can you imagine analyzing art that is not there? That is really mind-boggling, mind-provoking, right? And I would, that really made me think, because you're being asked to just paint your picture, paint what you're thinking. As you look at that clean canvas, and that's who we are. We are a canvas that we can write anything we think about. We're just that canvas that anything can be painted. So as I look at Africa, and in Kenya in particular, in the morning we were looking at our matatu culture and looked at different art done on matatus. I looked at it and I'm like, this should be a global exhibition. We should have a global exhibition of our matatus, our matatu culture, because the art that we see in our matatus and in our streets is amazing, is crazy amazing. And I think this should be one of the global, exhibition of what people can do even with those mobile gallery. Our matatus, for those who've never seen our matatus in Kenya, is a mobile gallery in motion. This is the only place you see art in motion, and with the music and all that. I mean, it's amazing, and we need to appreciate what we have and take it to the world, that we can actually exhibit all over the world what happens with our matatu culture and so many other things that we have here in Kenya that should actually be for the world. Just like as I was looking at the history of marathon, because I went now to see where did the word marathon come from. And as I was looking down there, how, the first man, as he was, taking the message, and he collapsed, and now they thought they need to commemorate this and start marathons. And I looked at how they kept breaking records until the first Kenyan man broke the record. I saw people like Wanjiru there. I saw so many Kenyans in that record of marathon. Can you imagine that? Who would have thought? It was not even invented in Kenya. But right now, you cannot mention marathon and not mention Kenya there. And they are there talking about this Kalenjin community in Kenya that keeps breaking records. It's really amazing to see Kenya there in the map. So that tells us that we are not limited. No human is limited. Even the man that is now attempting to run marathon under 2 hours is a Kenyan. Who would have thought? Who would have thought it would come from Kenya? People would have thought, record breakers will come from that country where that, started. But in a country where it didn't start, we've had people break record over and over. So no human is limited. And as Kenyans and as Africans, we have to arise and know we can break records. We can do things that have never been done. We can do things that will go global. Every time I see our not just our marathoners, but our other runners win gold medals. I was looking at the just concluded races, and we won. We were number 2 from America, and I was looking at, we should not even be compared with America. I mean, America is a whole continent. Kenya is just one tiny country that can only be compared to one state. So when I think about that, I think about Kenya as one of the most amazing countries in the world. And if we believe that more, we can actually take this global and blow this out and take over the whole, athletic, the whole, Olympics and do even crazy, amazing things. This country is actually a global phenomenon. This country should be talked about, we should go to all the records. So, what do you believe in? Remove the limitation from your mind and know it can be done. We may not go back to the beginning and make a new beginning, but we can start from where we are and make a new end. We may have limited ourselves in so many things, but I think it's time now to think again and think and be innovative as a nation and as a continent, and excel in different things. We can excel in amazing things that we've never even thought about. Let's challenge ourselves. Let's challenge ourselves like Eliud Kipchoge is challenging himself and is being challenged to break this record. There is a record we can break. There is a new thing we can do that has never been done before. So, no human is limited. Let's have a champion mindset. It's possible. It can be done. Thank you. Hata ni kama nimefogodha kiasi, nimeongea vitu, nimejaribu. I was it ready?